Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I am mostly going to... let me make sure I'm up first. I always start without making sure I'm up. I see green, and sometimes my sound drops, so let me check my sound. And I am not seeing myself, so that's slightly freaking me out. Yeah, super hungry. And I am moving and shaking. Good. The world is good. One of my subscribers on Twitter, what's the gentleman's name? No settle less evil. No settle less evil. Fucking it. He sent me a link to an article in Salon. Salon is an online magazine. Supposedly a lefty online magazine, but an online magazine. The article is named... let's just bounce to the article. Oh, look at that. Here's your leftover turkey. The case for Hillary Clinton 2020. This is the case for Hillary Clinton 2020. What better way to honor the holiday than with a spiteful argument for yet another Clinton candidacy? Yeah, because that's totally what the world needs. A 2020 Hillary candidacy. I am going to go through a little of this. Who wrote this? Matthew Rosa. He wrote this at 6 in the morning. What, 11:24? Yeah, he wrote this at 6 in the morning. I don't understand why you didn't have anything better to do with your time than write an article asking for a two-time failed presidential candidate to run for a third time. What is wrong with you? Are you stoned? It is 6 in the morning and you're putting out an article saying Hillary Clinton should run again in 2020 to go against Donald Trump. That woman lost to a reality show host. Come on, she lost to a reality show host. I'm going to go through a little of this. But to say that this is a case, look, this is not a case. In a technical sense, yes, maybe, but in the general sense that people call a good argument, this has nothing to do with being a good argument. This is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. This is the kid that believes in Santa Claus getting mad that somebody else tells him there's no Santa Claus. Let's go through a little bit of this. And all of this started because of a tweet by Donald Trump. So let's look at the tweet. The tweet is kind of funny. Crooked Hillary Clinton is the worst and biggest loser of all time. She just can't stop. Which is so good for the Republican Party. Hillary, get on with your life and give it another try in 3 years. Now you gotta admit that probably burns. That probably burns. You lost to reality show host, and that reality show host is now sitting and it's the President of the United States, and he is tweeting to you. There is nothing more whimsical and ridiculous than a tweet, and he is using it for really spiteful ends. That has to burn. That has to immensely burn. So this guy, I guess he's a Hillbot to the end, a good soldier. I'm going to rehabilitate Hillary Clinton. I'm wearing my no shirt for this. I'm wearing my no shirt for this. Because my answer is that this guy is on some bad substance. He's on a bad trip. Are you sick of Republicans or right-wingers in general? Do you want to send a message to Washington that you aren't going to buy into their racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic, and classist nonsense for 1 second longer? You are going to deal with it for 1 second longer because Donald Trump is the President of the United States. Did you read his tweet? Donald Trump may lie as easily as breathing, but that tweet, everything in that tweet is true. Everything in that tweet is true. The worst and biggest you lost reality show host. That's all that needs to be said. I don't understand why anybody would want this. I don't understand why anybody would want this. When I was reading some of the articles in The Hill and whatnot, people were cringing that Hillary Clinton was doing that book tour. They were like, oh, just go away. That's Democratic insiders, Democratic functionaries cringing at the thought of that woman talking about anything. Just go away. This guy wants to go back in 2020. Let's look at his argument. Let's see what his argument. Let's see what his argument. Let's see. It's easier to see here. All right. All right. Hillary Clinton is the worst Winston Churchill to Vladimir Putin's Adolf Hitler. That's amazing. That is amazing. Hillary Clinton is Winston Churchill to Vladimir Putin's Adolf Hitler. Might as well show the article as we read through it. Here's the catch. All right, so there's a few problems with this. Adolf Hitler, if we're talking about Russia and Hitler, we're talking about communism and fascism. Uncle Joe Stalin, yes, he was a horrible fucking person, but Uncle Joe, the guy who worked with us in the war, smashed fascism. So that's the first point. You're fucking up the way you're putting the sentence together. But whatever. Hillary Clinton is the Winston Churchill to Vladimir Putin's Adolf Hitler. All right, let's see. I agree with the basic principle of Goodwin's law. The first person to invoke Hitler in a political debate should normally lose. Yes, yes, because this is a fucking ridiculous. Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. Vladimir Putin is. Yeah, this is spiraling into ridiculousness. Vladimir Putin is not fucking Adolf Hitler. What the fuck is he talking about? The United States has been spreading NATO closer and closer to Russia's borders. God damn it, I shouldn't have to explain this. He's writing a fucking article. He's getting closer and closer to their borders. What is Russia supposed to do? Now, the United States was willing to go into a nuclear war over missiles being put into Cuba. We are spreading closer and closer to their borders. We made a deal with Russia saying we would not expand NATO if the Soviet Union went pop. That for the most part, we won't try to advantage ourselves at their expense. Bill Clinton gets in office. Fuck that. You didn't make the deal with me, mister. You made the deal with that last guy. I am expanding NATO around your borders. There's a coup or there's a fuck up in Ukraine. Ukraine starts to lean politically to the West. And there was thoughts that Ukraine might necessarily be able to go into NATO. Now you can imagine that's a big fucking problem if there's another NATO country at the border of Russia. Vladimir Putin is not Adolf Hitler. Vladimir Putin has not been taking countries just for the sake of taking countries. It's fucking amazing. I mean, it's amazing that you're going to make this case. I'm sorry. Even the title is fucked up. It's wrong. All right. I'm sorry. Let's see. The exception, of course, has to be when someone has a genuine Hitler-like qualities. All right. Let's flip back. A foreign despot who has invaded neighboring countries and has a right-wing nationalist agenda is about as Nazi-like as you can get. Actually, no. Nazis are as Nazi-like as you can get. Yeah. The real Nazis are. This is where Clinton offers a quality that no other politicians in America can beat. While Republicans are trying to tar her with bogus scandals connecting her to Russia, and anyone believes Clinton did something wrong to the uranium deal lacks credibility in all matters politically. Do they now? Do they now? I love that. I am the judge and jury on what's politically feasible to talk about. I'm the judge and jury about this. Matthew fucking Rosa, who believes that Hillary Clinton running in 2020 is the best fucking thing in the world. That's the guy who's making the political judgment on what has credibility and what doesn't. You, sir, making this argument that Hillary Clinton, a failed candidate, a two-time failed candidate who lost a reality show host, should run again in 2020, has lost all credibility in political matters. I'm making that judgment based upon the stupid shit you're saying in this article. This is amazing that Salon allowed this to put up. Can't believe, yeah, this is amazing that Salon allowed this. Putin has always hated Clinton because of his innate sexism. That's why I wasn't aware that his innate sexism is the reason why he disliked Hillary Clinton. That's amazing. Which is manifested in his policies, and she certainly didn't engender herself to him, publicly criticizing Russian corruption in 2011. As an ample connection between the Trump campaign and Russia, or its border carriers like WikiLeaks demonstrate. Oh, that's awesome. The one person we know we can trust more than WikiLeaks. more than anyone, is the candidate who Putin very obviously don't want to see as an American president. The one candidate that we can trust is Hillary Clinton. This guy has a microchip. This guy has a chip in his head. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. He's not going to give any context at all to the reason why Russia behaves in the way it does. Russia has no reason to behave in that way. We're just going to pretend that they're functioning in a void. The Uranium One deal. He doesn't think that Bill Clinton getting $500,000 and the Clinton Foundation getting $165 million, he doesn't think that there's nothing to see here at all. Yes, they got paid a shitload of money dealing with something that pertained to the company that gave them that shitload of money. Nothing to see here. Her credibility is superheroic. Credibility is beyond repute, beyond examination. It's fucking amazing. I love this part. Putin hated her because of his innate sexism. You sexist bastard. I love it. I love it. This makes no sense, but I love it. Also, I love it when somebody in this country, in order to make a political argument, use the values and virtues of this country as a part of that particular political argument, but they make it in a way that's somewhat implicit. So,
you never know what's beneath.
What the hell? All right, let's do this. Yeah, they make this as somewhat implicit. So she didn't endear herself by publicly criticizing Russian corruption in 2011. Come on, man. Can one country really criticize the corruption in another country? And yes, I know the answer to that is yes. I'm just making this point that all of the shit that's going on and surrounding Clinton, her criticizing corruption for anybody else, is maddening. And he's in one breath saying, look, there's nothing to see here with the Uranium One deal. I understand the Clinton Foundation got a massive amount of money at around the same time that they were doing this deal. Nothing to see here. But she is criticizing somebody else. Look, whatever you want to say about WikiLeaks, if you really want to look for Clinton corruption, I would say look at the WikiLeaks documents. That's your case. That's everything you need to know in that situation. Even if you take this Uranium One deal off the table, they were taking money and doing favors for that money. It is clear as day in those documents. Let's look at the second argument. Let's keep going. Hillary Clinton being elected at last would monumentally piss off misogynistic trolls. And what's not to like about that? Yeah, because, you know, everybody who doesn't want Clinton in office is totally just misogynistic. There can be no other reason why people wouldn't like her as a president. No other reason at all. I mean, after all. I mean, come on, that's fucking insane. You do understand that people dislike her for other reasons than her being a woman. Her having a vagina is not the issue, dude. It's not the issue. There may be a percentage of people who are misogynistic. Trust me, there are a lot of people who are not, and a lot of people who greatly dislike her. So, that's a fucking ridiculous thing. We want her as president because it'll piss off people? That's your... We want her as president because it'll piss some people off. You have a low bar for what you want as a president, dude. Let's keep going. I can't think of a single political figure in recent history who has been hated as deeply or as long as Hillary Clinton, but you want her as president. You're starting this off. A lot of people hate her guts. A lot of people hate her guts. From the moment she emerged on the national stage in 1992 as a distinctly feminist prospective First Lady, she has been the target of a right-wing wrath wholly out of proportion to anything that's ever said or done. She's ever said or done. Look, I would give him that. The right wing went after her in immensely unfairly terms, so fair enough. That part's fair. But come on, what does the right wing going after her have anything to do with the reason she should be president? The right wing treated her bad, so we need to make her president of the United States. That's what takes place. You started this off with nobody. Look, Hillary Clinton was the most hated candidate before Donald Trump in the history of candidates. Think about that. Think of how low you have to be. I'm saying this in a bad way. It's just Donald Trump was the only one to be able to beat her in the unpopularity polls. Like, that's amazing as a political figure. It's fucking amazing. And his argument is, I know she's really hated, but it'll piss off a lot of people. Yes, dude, it would piss off a lot of people because she is massively hated. At the very least, the next Democratic president needs to be a woman. Perhaps not Hillary Clinton specifically, but certainly a woman, to offset the symbolic gut punch of the first female candidate getting cheated in an overt misogynist. And speaking of cheating, he's arguing about cheating. You understand that those WikiLeaks documents, whether you want to say they work with Putin or not, I think that's somewhat of a conspiracy theory, but whatever. You understand that those documents revealed that they were cheating Bernie Sanders. You understand that Donna Brazile just wrote a book talking about that the entire thing was rigged. And you're bitching about cheating. You're bitching about cheating. You haven't demonstrated cheating. You understand that, right? Like, ultimately, what you're talking about cheating is that Democrats scream that Russia hacked the election or some garbage. That's what you've been screaming about. Nobody has ever proven that. Nobody has ever proven that. All you've shown was innuendo, and all you have is some kind of assessment. There's evidence out there that it was a leak, not a hack. And I strongly suspect it was a leak and not a hack. The Russia thing is just McCarthyism. And ultimately, it's just there to obfuscate from Democrats losing to reality shows. The person that you're trying to rehabilitate and prop up losing to a reality show host. A ham sandwich could have beaten Donald Trump. A ham sandwich. They could have wrote ham sandwich on the ballot. If people knew they could write in ham sandwich, they would have wrote in ham sandwich. That would have beat Donald Trump. But you guys put up Hillary Clinton. You didn't choose the ham sandwich. I'm making this point. Yes, I'm trying to be petty because I'm trying to get across this point that you thinking that this woman that has lost twice should run again is maddeningly and insane. This is insane. I'm sorry, you're on something. Let's keep going. Number 3. By winning the popular vote convincingly in 2016, Hillary Clinton has earned the right to be considered the presumptive nominee in 2020. Miss Inevitable had her inevitability tested. And she had that inevitability tested in the primaries first. A primaries in which she controlled the entire political apparatus itself, and Bernie Sanders still was in striking distance. He rigged the election, the primaries, and he was still in striking distance. You limped from the primaries into the general election and got the stuffing beat out of you by reality shows, by a guy that was firing has-been celebrities 10 months before running in the presidency. People keep screaming about this popular vote thing. And so I did some research. I was curious. I want to show you something. Let's flip over to this for a moment. They always say Hillary Clinton won this much in the popular vote. Hillary Clinton won this much in the popular vote. All right. In the final count, Hillary Clinton's lead in the popular vote of the 2016 election was nearly 3 million votes. According to the independent, nonpartisan Cook Political Report, Clinton's final tally came in at 65,844,610 compared to 62,979,636, with a difference of 2,864,974 votes. Now, the part I want you to listen to is, this is the vote total. This is the difference between Trump and Hillary Clinton. And oftentimes, they consistently make this thing like she beat the stuffing out of him by 2 million votes, by 3 million votes. Hillary Clinton waxed Donald Trump, etc., etc., etc. They use this idea that the popular vote was the thing that should show her legitimacy in this case. I want to show something else. And this is California. California. All right. So Donald Trump in California got 7,362,490 votes. Hillary Clinton got that. Donald Trump got 3,916,209 votes. That's a big fucking difference, right? Now, I put that into a calculator because I was curious. That comes to a total of 3,446,281 votes. When they're touting this thing that Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump by the popular vote, what they're talking about is just California. That's just one state. She got the stuff and beat out of her in every other state. Donald Trump lost California by almost 3 million votes. No, by more than 3 million votes. That's a massive fucking amount of votes to try to make up. That's how much you lost California by. I'm just making this point that in like 40-some states, or how many other states, she got the stuffing beat out of her. The vote total that they're touting, that they're showing and holding up as their badge of honor, is just California. It's just California. It's like, oh, we beat the shit out of in California, but we lost in pretty much every other state, nearly every other state. That's not something to be proud of. Making this thing of saying that she won by some massive amount, and so she has this kind of popular vote thing, and so she should automatically, you know, be considered the presumptive nominee. You are insane. You understand that you need the consent of other states other than California. You get that, right? Other states have to sign on to the candidate who you want to be in office. Like, shit, man, she got the stuffing beat out of her. There's like one state after the next. When you look at the electoral map, it's all red. It's all red. I understand that California didn't want Donald Trump. I don't want Donald Trump. A lot of states didn't want Donald Trump. But if you're screaming about how awesome Hillary Clinton is, and you're using the popular vote total to try to make that case, if you go state by state by state, I think you're going to have a shitload more states that disliked her and did not want her to win. And the gap that's in California, for the most part, is what we're looking at when they're talking about that vote total. That's nothing to be proud of. That is nothing to be proud of at all. It's like you're going with this idea that California should be the bellwether in pretty much every election. That's insane. That would be insane. It would be massively unfair to every other state. So yeah, that's a failed case. It's like she had 3 million more votes, all in one state. All in one state. Meaning Donald Trump made up votes in other states. Let's keep going. We can expect her to be a good president. We can't expect squat. I have no idea what you mean by good. I have no idea what that means. No clue what that word means. Frankly, the worst thing that could be said about a potential 2020 Hillary Clinton candidacy, especially in America's current cultural and political climate, is that her husband still hasn't answered for the numerous sexual abuse allegations against him. Yeah, I did a video about that. Bill Clinton has a lot of past stuff in his past. He paid off one woman like almost like $500,000 or something like that, nearly $1 million, to go away. I'm sorry I fondled you. Here's money. Go away. You're inconvenient to my presidency. So yes, that's true. While it may seem unfair for Hillary Clinton to be held accountable for Bill's alleged predations, oh, that's awesome, it can be plausibly be argued that she played a role in helping him cover them up. If that is ever proved beyond a reasonable doubt, she should be given the heave-ho. Aren't you nice? Aren't you nice? If it comes out that Hillary Clinton helped Bill Clinton clean up his messes with other women and illicit affairs, then she should be given the heave-ho. That's great. Then again, Bill Clinton is widely associated with the economic, social, and foreign policy conditions of the beloved 90s, and is greatly missed for that reason. You are on, yeah, man, you're on drugs. You're not on the good kind. You are on something else. You're on a massive trip this morning. Salon, yes. Salon needs to write an apology to each and every person who views Salon. This is fucking horrible. Bill Clinton, you realize that when Hillary Clinton started to run, Bill Clinton came out and went on an apology tour, going around apologizing for the shit that took place in his particular presidency. All of that financial deregulation, that was Bill Clinton. The financial crash. To some degree, you can tie to Bill Clinton. He's the one who was like, let's get rid of this financial regulation. Glass-Steagall. Fuck Glass-Steagall. I'm Bill Clinton. Let's get rid of it. And that's what they did. And guess what? There was a bubble. There was a bubble. There was bad shit that happened. That was Bill Clinton. This guy is saying that his economics were awesome. The welfare bill. You know, 70% of those people that got kicked off of welfare were kids. That's Bill Clinton. That's Bill Clinton. Good job, Bill Clinton. I don't know Bill Clinton's foreign policy, so I think there was a war, but I don't know the details of that particular war. But I'm going to make this case that Bill Clinton's domestic policy was not this great fucking thing. What was the other thing? The drug laws. And yeah, NAFTA. NAFTA. You realize his wife lost in part because of NAFTA. You know she didn't go to Wisconsin. She lost Ohio. She lost Wisconsin. She lost Pennsylvania. She lost those states. Those states that were gutted out based on the policies that Bill Clinton put into the office while he was in office. Hillary Clinton was pushing TPP. She was pushing a similar legislation. Now, she lost those states. Why do you think she lost those states? Do you think she lost those states purely in a separate, distinct thing from her husband, Bill Clinton? You are insane if you believe that. You're insane if you believe that. Beloved by who? I would imagine there's a section of the population that loves Bill Clinton. Fair enough. Fair enough. But come on. Bill Clinton would have went on that apology tour if he was this kind of beloved figure. Yeah, that's among Hillbots. That's not among everybody else. Be very specific when you make that statement. The ability to get things done, by the way, is why Bill Clinton had a high approval ratings. Hillary Clinton had high approval ratings as Secretary of State, even proving more popular than Barack Obama as Vice President Joe Biden in 2011 and 2012. Yeah, dude, but you understand that's because she wasn't in the limelight. Secretaries of State are typically popular unless they're doing something crazy. At that point, they're just political functionaries. They're doing the job. As long as she was not in the limelight, yeah, she was perfectly fine. The moment that she came into the limelight and she opened her mouth, people were like, oh my God, go away. Go away. Yeah. Matthew Rosa, breaking news writer for Salon. Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why you wrote this. I don't know why you wrote this. I don't know what moved you to write this. And if this is one of those things where he just woke up in the morning dreaming about Hillary Clinton, he's like, oh, I want her in 2020. I want her in 2020. I miss her. I need her to run. I need that pantsuit. I love those pantsuits. If that's where you are as a person, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This article, I will put this article in the bottom. This article is fucking ridiculous. You can't be serious. You understand that when the polls came out, I think it was recent polls showing that Hillary Clinton would lose to Donald Trump again. She is massively disliked. Like, I don't think you can get that across. And this idea that she's going to somehow work with lefties, you're on drugs. You're on something. You're absolutely on something. You're on some kind of acid trip. That you are the only one that's on that acid trip. No, you're not the only one. Peter Dow and some of these other hillbots are on that acid trip with you. But that's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. There is a certain level of honesty for the person themselves before writing some shit like that. That's fucking amazing. See the audience. I watch Peter Dow sometimes and I think to myself, what does this man do to keep himself that ridiculous? Like, there has to be a serious moment when 3 in the morning he's like, oh, he just shakes out of it for a moment and then goes back to being whatever Peter fucking Dow is. I don't know what moves a person to write this. That's all. I don't know what moves a person to write this at all. Hillary Clinton 2020. Even if you like Hillary Clinton in 2020, sir, do you understand that the rest of the public hates her guts? You have a lot of people who A, felt cheated, who felt sleazy and dirty when they kind of got over themselves in order to vote for her. And then she lost. They felt sleazy and shitty just for her to lose. Yeah. There's no way she runs in 2020. I'm sorry, dude. Your fantasies will not be fulfilled on this. Your fantasies will not be fulfilled. Hillary Clinton is not running in 2020. And if she does, it doesn't matter because Bernie is running as an independent. I think Bernie is running as a Democrat, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's see. The only case for Hillary Clinton is a criminal case. Damn straight, Pat. Yeah, Stevie, I agree. Look at TYT. Uh-oh. Democracy Now! They're carrying water for the deep state now. Kathleen Horace, she's wearing a boot to hide an ankle brace because she's about to be charged in all manner of betrayal against the American people. That author's either brain dead or paid off, or a little bit of both. A little bit of both. That's a fucking amazing article. It's untethered to reality. Like, it's post-reality. That's what that is. For you to sit and then to use the energy, to use your muscles, to literally get your brain into a perspective where you can sit down and you can actually type or write something like that. That's that ridiculous. It is a skill. It is not a good skill, but it is a skill. It is a skill. You may even say a superpower. I always say politicians have this have shame as this kind of superpower. Their ability to bear massive amounts of shame. Maybe writing is the same. Maybe sometimes writers have the same. Matthew Rosa is sitting there and this massive amount of ridiculousness is coming out of his ink pen or coming out of his fingers as he's typing. And he pushes through the ridiculousness and finds even more fine-tuned and minute levels of ridiculousness. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, he's fucking ridiculous. She's not Hitler. Putin is nowhere close to being Hitler. No, it's not. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Hitler should be allowed to run again if Clinton charities are audited. Look, she can do whatever she wants. I'm saying she's not. I'm saying she's not. Smart Trump supporter. As a Trump supporter, I also want Hillary Clinton to win in 2020. I bet you do, Trump supporter. I bet you do. I bet you do. Yeah, I bet you do. It's like the one person on the planet Earth that can lose to Donald Trump, and the Democratic Party found her and called her ass inevitable, and she lost. She lost. Stephen Bloch. Salon is more out of touch than I realize. Yeah, man, that is insanity. That is insanity. I'm sorry, that's insanity. LM. They're the same ones making the case for pedophilia, pieces of shit, all of them at that rag. Vision leader. Hillary is not running in 2020, and if she does, it doesn't matter because Bernie is running as an independent. Pan-galactic planetopantouria. No way does Hillary run in 2020 again. I'm just going to call you Pan-galactic. Cheeky rogue. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Good morning to you all. Good morning, cheeky rogue. You run, and you're supposed to be inevitable in 2008. And a black man with a Muslim name that nobody knows beats you. He beats you. You run again after being Secretary of State, after being in the public limelight. You run again in 2016. And you have complete control of the Democratic National Committee, the entire apparatus, as if you were Thanos with the glove, having all control of space, matter, and time, but in this case, in a political sense. And at the exact same time that's happening, you have your minions running out saying, we're impartial. We're impartial. We're being perfectly fair. Trust us. We're the Democratic Party. And you guys are lying through your teeth. Completely lying through your teeth. And you still lose after you get past the socialists. What's your legitimacy to run a third time? I don't understand the legitimacy argument. Why do you think you should run a third time? How is that good for anybody? The public has definitively, without question, said, go away. Like there is no stronger statement of the public saying go away than losing an election twice. Once to reality shows. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. So if we're talking about 2020, give me a little something more than your Hillbot feelings and the shit that you recall in this particular article for why she should run again. I see no reason for that woman to run again. I see no reason for that woman to be in the public limelight at all. Stick your head in a hole. Go away. Go the fuck away. You've done enough. Tia Wheeler. Yeah, the people who voted for Joe Stein are misogynistic trolls. Facepalm. Yeah, me too. I'm a misogynistic troll, apparently. Bernie wants to control of running the DNC rather than being president. Trump made a power grab just like Bernie. Sammy McFawn. I agree. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If Bernie wins in 2020, he would likely... Look, I compare this to Britain in many respects. It's like America's the shittier brother of Britain in regards to the way I do our policies and the stuff that we allow our citizens. And there's some things that take place in America that are better than Britain, by the way, in regards to laws. But Britain has a better safety net than we do. And they have an understanding of this basic level of human decency that you don't necessarily let people go beyond in your particular society. They have a conservative running that particular government. And that conservative in the next election is going to fucking lose. The person who's going to take over is Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn is essentially Bernie Sanders is Bernie Sanders. He's to the left of Sanders. The guy is legitimate. The guy is real. He's a true believer. In the same way that you can see Sanders is a true believer. Yeah, I think Sanders would fundamentally change what it looks like to be a Democrat in this country. In the same way that Jeremy Corbyn fundamentally changes what it means to be Labor. And I say that to mean they tried to take him out of that office twice. And they failed both times. They failed both times. The Blairites. Blair should be in prison. Okay, that's a tangent. I'm just making a point that, yeah, I do think he'll revitalize and change what it means to be a Democrat. I think he will browbeat. I think it would be something like FDR. You had some Democrats who didn't necessarily want to go along with FDR's plan. FDR was going to run against those particular Democrats. He did what he had to do. I think it would be the same thing. I think it would be the same, yes. I don't think you read my comment fully. I said Bernie said he's going to run as an independent. No, visionary leader. I've read that comment. I don't believe he's going to run as an independent. He's going to run as a Democrat. When? Wait a minute. When? You're going to have to link me to that. You're going to have to link me to that. I haven't seen that. Everything that I've heard up to this point had Sanders running as a Democrat. If Sanders is running as an independent, all stops are off. All bets are off. That's going to be fucking amazing. I need to see that. Visionary leader. Show it up. If you found a link to that, let me know. Catherine Harris, Hillary Clinton as a candidate is an act of hatred towards women. It's an act of hatred towards humanity. I don't give a shit if she's a woman or man. Pat Hacker, Bernie had his shot. It's time for a new face of policies. I want Bernie. Bernie was cheated. I want Bernie. And at the very least of everybody, I know Bernie Sanders is real. He's a true believer in a sense. Perseus Gold, piss off. It would start a civil war. Bernie made no power grab at all. Excuse me, he should have run with Jill. Oh, right, he should run with Jill. Looking back on it, I felt that way. Look, I'll agree with you. I felt that way. Bernie should have ran with Jill Stein. My concern was if Hillary Clinton lost. So at the time, I agreed, yes. Looking back on it, I have a secondary thought. Hillary Clinton losing. Look, I looked at her possibly losing as being good for lefties because it allowed a reorganization of the party itself. That being said, Donald Trump taking that off was somewhat traumatic. And I would imagine that Sanders, the last thing he wanted is blame associated with him making a political decision. Right now, all the blame is on Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton can scream, "What happened?" as often as anywhere she wants. Look, everybody has an idea of what happened. She fucking lost. That's what happened. At this point, you can't blame Sanders for that. This is not a situation where you're like, oh, Ralph Nader was in the race, so we can blame Ralph Nader for Al Gore losing. That's not the case. She just lost. If that would have happened at the exact same time Bernie Sanders was in the race with Jill Stein, you would have had consequences. Like, there would have been difficulty from the societal standpoint, just from the point of view of the society itself. That's my thought. That's my thought. But that's in hindsight. I would like to see Gabbard and Jill Stein run together. That would be a good ticket. Gabbard's so pathetic. How our most qualified person. Cheaters. She cheated. Yes, she did. I find her offensive to my gender, to my species. Look, the thing I don't like about those type of campaigns is everybody's a feminist. Everybody is sexist. And it's like, you're saying that Bernie Sanders supporters are sexist and Bernie bros? Look, I did a video on Jordan. This is the left we're talking about. I did a video on the Jordan Sheridan thing. And I understand that the sandbox is somewhat to the far left. I understand that this sandbox sometimes goes so far left that it goes and dips his toe into things of the right. I just give my opinion. I don't necessarily care. I have a humanistic point of view. That's why I put my stake in the ground. People were pissed at me about my perspective on the Sheridan thing. And look, I'm just making this point that when you're talking about the left, these guys aren't sexist. So if you're saying you're sexist, you guys are being Bernie bros and all this other stuff, the moment that you turn around and try to use that on people who are actually being sexist and are being racist and are being whatever, it loses esteem, man. It loses power. It's almost sexist to call somebody sexist who's not sexist. It's worse than sexist. You're using the word purely for this kind of political value. It's fucked up. I think it's a horrible fucking way to run. When they ran against Trump to some degree, I mean, but Trump said stuff where they played into it politically, but against Sanders, that doesn't work at all. And that makes him look immensely bad. That makes him look real bad. Greg Van, hi Jamal, thanks for doing the live stream today. I'm stuck at work. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Being a female is not a reason to vote For or against one. Richard Russ. Yes, I agree. I agree. Vermont Bread. What? Who? Hubert Humphrey wasn't available? No, Hubert Humphrey is not available, Vermont Smith. Pat Hacker. Rich Russ. As a woman, I concur. No, I agree, man. I voted for Jill Stein. I would have voted for Tulsi Gabbard. I would have voted for Elizabeth Warren. There's a lot of people I would have voted for that was a woman. It had nothing to do with her gender. Nothing at all. You're a fucking human being. When I evaluate stuff purely from this angle of this person is a human being that has every right and reason to exist in the same way that I have every right and reason to exist. That's where I am. Now, I don't consider that. I consider that just the natural position to be. You have another being. That particular being has a reason to exist. That particular being has worth. When I evaluate something like the Jordan thing, I evaluate from the perspective of she's a human being. She's a person. She can make her choice one way or the other. She can say yes, or she can say no, or she can say stop. Yeah, I don't like the sexist stuff. I really don't. It's one thing if it's really sexism. It's one thing if it's real. You know, the grab by the pussy thing, fair enough. That's so much sexual assault you can make an argument for. But Bernie Sanders. I mean, they were using it like Bernie Sanders just by him being in the race was being sexist. How dare you get in the way of this woman being president? You're being somewhat sexist. It's amazing. It loses its steam whether they realize it or not. Vermont Brett Smith. I was 18. I couldn't vote then, but I campaigned for him. Fucking A. Eleanor Roosevelt ran as well, I think. Did she? X Factor. Yeah, I don't know. I could, but definitely win. Excellent point about California. Zorvan Zvorkin. Thank you. Imagine all of the votes. How many votes Bernie would have had if he would just had it, wasn't cheated. Yeah, agreed. Trudy. Cheeky rogue. Nope. Eleanor never ran for office. Yeah, okay. Good. I'm not crazy. I didn't think she did. Pat Hacker. Justin Norton. He would have been the nominee. Go to the way with the Noah and see it. See what? What am I missing? Bucky fans. That's funny. Richard Russ. They were not campaigning for the popular vote. They were campaigning for the electoral votes. If the presidency was determined by the popular vote, then they would have concentrated on California and others. Yeah, agreed. I don't really think that the 3 million votes that California brags about is so much, or even hers. Well, however, she brags about it all the time. It's her one saving grace. It's the fig leaf that she uses as she's walking through the crowd and makes herself feel better. I got 3 million more votes. Yeah, we don't choose the president by the popular vote. Did you not know when you went into that election that we voted or we used the electoral college in that way? Now, California is a massive state. Yeah. There's a reason we don't use the popular vote, by the way. That's not an insane argument to have some kind of system. Some of the states were afraid that big states like California would essentially take over in regards to the decisions that were made politically. Just like this. If the election was done by the popular vote, California would have essentially been the bellwether. Her votes came purely out of California. The rest of the nation, look at the map. The rest of the nation, the majority of that nation is red. It's like the two ends. Everything else is like red. It's amazing when you look at it. It's absolutely amazing. The Clinton Walmart ties the United States. Yeah, NAFTA. Delayed effect of Reagan. It may be a delayed effect of Reagan, but NAFTA also helped with those trade deals. Essentially, those trade deals allowed them to ship jobs out of seas and re-import that stuff back into the country. When you think about it, I think it's like 50% of the corporations or companies that of the supplies we get from abroad come from companies that are at home, American companies. Yeah, those trade deals, they allowed them to gut the country of jobs. I didn't vote for Hillary because Bill. I didn't vote for Hillary because of Hillary. I didn't vote for Hillary because Bill. I didn't vote for Hillary. Oh man, the phrasing of that is so weird, but I know what you mean. You're trying to say Hillary. I didn't vote because of Bill Clinton. Like, that wasn't a reason I didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton because of who Hillary Clinton was. Yeah, agreed. Libya, agreed. Bob Ramirez. Imagine how many votes Sanders would have gotten if he actually had been running instead of pull punches and then folded like a cheap card table and started shilling. Bob Ramirez. Bob, I agree with you. You're right. I agree with you on that. You can be a cynical SOB, but on that, I do agree. I agree. Only a handful of people in American history have the charisma to run as an independent and work. See, that is my issue. So that's what I'm asking. If you said that he's running as an independent, I want to see the link, some source, so I can see that. Because up to this point, Bernie Sanders seems like he's running as a Democrat. It does seem like he's running as a Democrat. Jacqueline Thompson, I agree that the electoral system plays an important purpose. We cannot have one or two states be the decision makers of who will run for right. The thing is, those things need to be tethered to the actual populations in those states. Right now, those things are way, way off. Those things are way off. You can have like a tiny state with a small population have this kind of overweight in the electoral system. The thing is, they never bitch and talk about this stuff until they lose. They never bitch and talk about it until they lose. California adds millions of uncounted votes, yeah. Not to mention, the amount of people who vote in this country gets less and less and less each year. It's like as more and more people get disenfranchised or get disillusioned with how things are, they stop voting. This system does nothing for me. These people are fucking me off. And the less those people vote, the more craven the system gets, or the electoral system gets. Didn't vote for her because of her ties to the prison industrial complex and her damaging of the black community. Yes. Those super predators. Those super predators. Yeah. 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 They never look at like why these super predators exist in the first place. It's always an end result. We just need to do something about the end result. These things magically happen out of a void. They just happen. That just happen. And we just need to deal with the just happening. It's like, you understand, those people are just like people like everybody else. There's nothing, they weren't born quote unquote super criminals. It's living in your particular society and whatever that particular culture, in that particular neighborhood, in that particular environment, that has groomed that particular person to be that particular way. You didn't do it by magic. In a different household, in a different country, in a different world, that person will be a different person. That's all I'm saying. Calling them super predators. I understand the end result is problematic and there is no solution that deals with the issue where the only thing you can mess with is the end result. You have to deal with the root. What's the cause? What's the cause? Hillary Clinton doesn't touch the cause because that's going to touch your economic system. The Milo McDonald Hillary says she was a successful Secretary of State pet hacker. Perseus Gold, I didn't vote for her because I am not a citizen, unlike surely millions of Hispanics in the states without ID laws. Fair enough. Cute nerd, red zoning. Yeah, that too. You know, that's coming up also. The census is, no, what, not census, what is it called? What is it called? The redistricting thing, the gerrymandering thing. That's coming up. That needs to be struck down for a vote. That shouldn't be allowed. Or it should be done by mechanical means. I've seen this thing where these software engineers, these computer scientists have come up with a way of doing the zoning in a way that's fair based on the population. Don't leave it up to politicians. Politicians are going to be politicians. And in that case, they're going to try to advantage themselves. In fact, I think the law would be better if they assume that these people advantage themselves. Like, don't assume integrity. That's what I'm saying. Don't assume that as you're working in the political space that these people are going to function on a level with integrity. Where do the incentives lie? Where are the incentives? Then if you're a Republican and you get in office and you don't necessarily have any shame about yourself, meaning you're shameless. You just want to politically win. Culture, religion, none of that stuff matters. Ethics, morality, idealism, none of that shit matters. I am in this office. I now have the opportunity to change the way the districts are to allow myself to get in office easier. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what they did all across the United States. We've been living with it for the last 10 years. Libya was fairly stable. The media aided in the lie. Yes, that's true. Marlon McDonald agreed. Adam Sinclair, voter fraud is almost non-existent in the United States. Election fraud is a problem. Agreed. Cute nerd, because politicians pick their voters, not the other way around. Agreed. Perseus Gold, Adam Sinclair, that is a lie pushed to maintain confidence in the system. Independent research has shown millions of illegal votes. I don't know what the illegal votes thing, man. Look, what I would agree with right-wingers on this point, it needs to be hand counted. And it needs to be something where people can actually believe in. Like, not, if you're going to say give voter IDs, now these voter IDs, let's be honest, those voter IDs were put in place by Republicans because they knew they can carve out a certain demographic of that particular vote. The voting system that they're using to try to Operation Cross-Check, getting people off the voter rolls based on their names and all this other stuff. You can use a gun license, but not a student license. And I remember in Ohio, they were closing down polls in black neighborhoods. Once they put scrutiny on the guy, he reopened. They're like, oh yeah, how bad, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Our voting system is not, the bee's knees. I don't even, look, and even the computer system itself. If those things are black box, those things should not be used for voting. The voting system needs to be something that can be believed and verified. It has to be verified. I agree with right-wingers on that point. If we can pick apart the voting system and make that shit fair, I agree. If you think they stuffed it by 3 million votes, okay, whatever. At the very least, I don't necessarily believe what the vote total is, and I think it's somewhat... I believe that it's... Put it this way. I don't necessarily believe that those things are foolproof and aren't hackable. So, yeah, I don't trust those machines if I can't necessarily verify that vote. And I'm extraordinarily suspicious when I'm hearing stories or seeing reports of people saying they changed the vote total in order to match what the machine was saying. It's fucking amazing. So, yeah, I don't trust the voting thing at all. You need to secure your voting system. Honestly, that has to be secure. There's no situation where you're going to get anything done if you have a corrupt voting system. And the more that the public has little confidence in that particular voting system, the larger problems you're going to start having in your society. The moment that people believe they have no choice in the matter of their particular government, those people are going to get pissed off, particularly when life gets harder. Karmeshwari Kate, do you have specific reports of millions of illegal votes? Right, I want to see that. Cheeky Rogue, paper ballots, hand counted, witness. Agreed, Cheeky Rogue, that's my point, yes. It isn't millions of illegal risking jail time to cast a vote. It's people running the elections that are just ballot stuffing or deleting votes for other candidates. Adam Sinclair. Look, like I said, man, I would agree with right-wingers on the point of we need to secure our voting system. Hands down. If you believe they're vote stuffing, I believe there's something shady with it. I don't necessarily know what it is. I want to secure it. Hand count it. Witnessed. That's what I want. That's what I want. Cute nerd preacher. Ah, that's funny. Pet hacker. Cheeky rogue. Paper ballots and hand counts won't rule out fraud. It would rule out fraud if somebody else is looking at the hand count itself. At the very least, allow somebody else, some kind of external source. It just need to be verified. Even if it's double verified, meaning there's one after the next in order to verify. I'm just saying, whatever the process, whatever the procedure, whatever some smart person comes up with to secure the vote, you need to secure the vote. You need to secure the vote. Got to. People need to trust their electoral system. If they don't trust their electoral system, there are going to be problems. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm predicting. That's what I'm predicting. Do people believe that Jill Stein's vote tally was accurate? I knew a lot of people that voted Stein, yet it ended up being nothing. You might have known a lot of people that were around you because you might have associated with certain people. Whether that's reflective of the rest of the state of the country, I don't know. There's no way to know. It's hard to get out of our bubbles. Jacqueline Thompson, why are our votes not linked to social security number? The government should easily be able to determine legality by votes by cross-referencing. Jacqueline Thompson, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't have an answer for that. I was deeply disappointed at Jill Stein's turnout. Me too. But I'm proud to have voted for her at the same time. Yes, agreed, Greg. Agreed. You voted for what you wanted, not necessarily what you were terrified of. Pet hacker. No one remembers hanging chads. I do remember hanging chads. I do. I also remember the Supreme Court stepping in and not allowing that vote process to go through. I remember both of those things happening. The problem wasn't the hanging chads. You could go back and count those hanging chads. If you have a computer system, who the fuck knows? It's up in the air. Particularly if you can't necessarily verify that vote. I don't trust those systems. No way Jill got 1%. She was definitely cheated. Chris V, we don't know that. Eval79, me too. Cheeky Rogue. Jill was robbed in New York City because she combined with the libertarian guy. She was combined with the libertarian guy. I don't know what that one means. Milo McDonald's. I think they lied about Jill Stein's vote share. Agreed. See, here's the thing though. The Democratic and the Republican parties themselves control the voting apparatus. Meaning if a third party or independent is going to try to win that vote, that becomes a... It's like even that process. It's like, why would any other candidate trust that you're... Why would they trust? Like, what? I don't know, man. When you have a Republican or a Democrat in a particular office and those guys control the political apparatus and the voting apparatus, I think that's a little dicey. That's all. I think it's dicey. It's like we're supposed to trust that the two parties is going to do the right thing. I don't know why we're supposed to trust that. There was a link where Green voters were showing that 20% of people in Florida were voting for Jill. Yeah, come on. That's a That's a little self-serving, to be honest. On the ballot, there was only one column. Oh, I see. I see. Oligarchs are way more afraid of Stein than Trump, Marlo McDonald. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But that's assuming that she can get over that hurdle of the other. The mythical other. I would vote for Stein if other people voted for Stein. Bob Ramirez, a vote for Stein was a vote that enabled Hillary. Yes, it took guts to actually vote against her. 1% of the votes were just too vain to carry their own water, though. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. A vote for Stein was actually a vote for Hillary. A vote that enabled Hillary. I don't know what that means. Yes, it took guts to actually vote against her. 1% of votes was just too vain to carry their water, though. I don't know what that means, yeah. Jamal, you're absolutely correct that a third party would be shut out through skullduggery by the other two parties. Kame Kashwari Kate. I am screwing your name up and I'm absolutely sorry. I'm just going to call you Kate. Yes, Kate. I think so too. I'm not all that trusting of the two-party system. I'm not. I'm not at all. Not at all. You have two corporate entities, and those corporate entities seek to advantage themselves in the political sphere. And they do whatever they can to keep out third parties from that political sphere. Ranked trust voting is one of the best ways to try to get that through. And the question is, how do you get that through when both parties are absolutely against it? I did not enable Hillary. Those in the primaries who voted Hillary enabled Trump. Agreed, Jacqueline. That's defiant. That's defiant. I love that. That's defiant. Yeah, that's defiant. Fucking A. I love that. Bob Ramirez. So Perot got almost 90%, and the DNC RNC axis said never again. Yeah, they've joined with television networks to only have debates with those networks. So if I'm not mistaken, there was an organization that used to do the debates, but they used to allow pretty much any third party. I mean, granted, third party had to be actual third party, but it would allow third party candidates to run. Ross Perot essentially ran on his own money, so Ross Perot did fucking amazing, particularly in the debates. They can be toppled if you had this kind of external cash source where you have just massive amounts of cash to put into it. So yeah, if put it this way, if Rob Perot was Bernie Sanders, Rob Perot will be president right now. Yeah. I'd like to see a solid documentary on the shenanigans at the DNC. You and I both, sir. You and I both, Milo. League of Women Voters. Thank you, Pat Hacker. League of Women Voters used to hold debates. Thank you, Pat Hacker. I love my audience. When I fail you bring me back up. You're like, oh, I got you. I got you. That's it. Yeah. League of Women Voters. The debate committed had Jill Stein arrested, yep, and tied to a chair in the police department until the debate was over. Yep, Jacqueline Thomas, yes, they did. The Democrats and Republicans don't want the Ross Perot thing to ever happen again. Mr. X, no, they don't. But understand, of course they don't. That should be assumed. Like saying that is not, that's not a defiant thing. That's an assumption. Don't assume integrity. Don't assume that politics is about doing the right thing for the population. That is not what these guys are doing. That's not what they're doing. That's not how they're functioning. They're functioning at their own whims. What do these guys want to accomplish? That's all there is. What do we want to accomplish? As a party, what do we want to accomplish? What do we want to represent? Everything else doesn't matter. Meaning, if you are a party and if you realize, oh my God, there was a threat of a third party, we need to stop that from taking place again because any threat of a third party potentially takes me out of my office. You're going to do something to prevent that third party. It is natural as natural can be to do it. There is no reason to not do it. Ultimately, you seek to advantage yourself in that political game space. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Now, you may say, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't people be able to find a representative who... They don't give a shit about people being able to find a representative. They're a politician. That's their job. Meaning, in the same way that you want to keep your job, they want to keep their job. They keep their job by keeping other people away from their office. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you or the population. That's how they function. Assume non-integrity. Assume it. Morality, none of this stuff. These high ideals of we're going to serve the population, that has nothing to do with it. That's nothing to do with it. They do what they need to do to stay in office. That's the secret to political correctness. Or that's the secret to politics. The time they're changing, Trump was elected. The time is right for a new party to emerge. From your mouth to God's ears, Pat Hacker. Donna Flip-Flop. Yep, yes, Donna Flip-Flop. Greg Van. If we're going to insist on electoral votes, then we should be able to vote from our smartphones, providing that those smartphones can't be hacked or anything else. Dante, greetings from Germany. What's happening, Dante? Dante, your country is going through an interesting scenario right now. This thing of not being able to form a government. The funny part is, you guys have this parliamentary system, and that you need to form a government that would allow you to get stuff done. And I'm looking at that as if I'm looking at Dante. That's awesome. We function with a government that don't work. We function with a government that hasn't worked for years on end. I'm fascinated by Germany saying, oh my God, we're going to have a mixed government. What are we going to do? It's like you're wringing your hands. It's like, we've had a fucked up government for God knows how long. It's very few and far between where one party gets to dominate the entire political sphere. Obama did it for a short term. I suspect Trump is going to do it for a short term. Trump is dysfunctional, so he's not going to get much done in that short term, but he's going to do it for a short term. Germany won election, and it's like, oh my God, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. I'm fascinated by that. It's fucking awesome. Chris V, I really like how Jamal interacts with us. Most don't do that. Well, if I'm going to do a live stream, might as well do a live stream. That's the way I look at it. Look, my format is I speak my piece at the beginning. I essentially start with a topic. I give the topic that I want to talk about. It's probably going to go like 15 minutes. Sometimes if I'm feeling myself, it may go a little longer. But after that, yeah, I talk to my audience. Have fun. Fuck around. There's some people who like to have a go at me for something I said in one of my other videos. I let them get the chance to get it off their chest. There's some people who like to have a go at me for something I'm saying in the current video. I like to let them get it off their chest. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The Jordan thing, I got a lot of hate on that video. I don't think I'm wrong. It's just, I accept the other person as a human being. Meaning, I accept that that person has the capacity to say yes or no. And it's one thing if force is being applied to the individual. No force was being applied. None at all. It just, I mean, if you're looking at it in an objective way, and I know there's no objective way in the sense, you look at it through your own lens. Just based on the stuff that was said and based on the stuff she said herself, I just felt like, yeah, it didn't come across as rape to me. Not to mention, even in the records, or the Twitter record, not Twitter, the phone records that were released, the person was saying, yeah, I never said it was rape. They took it that way and ran with it. So, yeah, I got a lot of hate on that video. But my point is, I let people get off their chest. I let people get off their chest. That's why I do it. Somebody gave me cash? What? Who gave me cash? What is this? What did you say? What did you say? Alright. Kame Shiwari Kate. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Kame Shiwari Kate. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, seeing as you gave me cash. That's always nice. Super cash is always appreciated. Thank you very much. I didn't see the comment. I'm sorry if you made a comment and I missed it. Alright, let's see. League of Women Voters, yes. Greetings from Germany, yes. We protested in New York City, the Iraq War. Yes. What happened to the what happened to the anti-war crowd? Alexandro Nospada, still no Zimbabwe video. What are you? What do you mean, my no Zimbabwe video? I haven't did a Zimbabwe video. I've been, you talking about the Mugabe thing? Mugabe being, I guess, pushed out, being pushed to resign after being in Africa for God knows how long. I haven't did a video on Mugabe, no. I haven't did a video on Zimbabwe. Stephen Block, can you do something about the picture in the upper left corner of the screen? What's wrong with the picture in the upper left corner of the screen? I think there's going to be some Hillary hate going out. People should submit both an electronic vote and a paper ballot. If the exit polls are way off, count paper ballots to verify. Jose Cascrido, yes. And I bastardized that last name also. I'll just call you Jose. Ellen, your phone is vulnerable, yes, I think it is. But it requires an educated electorate. To some degree, yes. My Friday shopping here at Jamal Thomas. Oh, thank you, Kate. Kate, great way to spin. I know, right? Soon Jamal will be able to trade up from his Mr. Bean car. I love my car. My car is fucking awesome, Bob. I don't know what you're talking about. Hitler desperately wants there to be a 3-time presidential loser. Or is she paid to screw with the Democratic side of elections? I know, right? So, one of the things that came out in WikiLeaks, one of the guys, if I'm not mistaken, is working at the New York Times, was submitting stuff to to Podesta and to the Hillary camp to review to make sure that it meets their approval. That it meets their approval. Your reality is shaped by political figures that are around you, and they try to make it as if this person wrote the story willy-nilly. This guy did this thing purely on their own volition. All this, yeah. I don't know if this guy wrote this on his own volition. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Whatever. It is a mindfuck. It is a mindfuck. He's lost it. He's lost it. That's all I'm saying. He has absolutely lost it. Man, I could not imagine that woman running a 3rd time. I would light myself on fire. I cannot imagine that. Can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. You're right off the bat, you alienate every Sanders supporter. Right off the bat. Meaning there's a large part of the electorate that just won't vote for you at all. You think you're going to get those people to vote for you a 2nd time? Oh, no way. No way. No way. They felt dirty when they walked out that voting booth. They felt immensely dirty. They felt immensely dirty. My wife came home sad and ashamed. She took a shower immediately after she got home, after making that vote. And she was like, I wrote on the paper Bernie, but the woman made me take it back and I had to vote for Hillary. It's like, okay. All right, I understand. Take a shower. Take a shower. Take a shower. And then have the indignity that she lost. Oh man, that's even worse. It's like I've been beaten into submission to vote for this woman who cheated my candidate, and the woman lost to reality show host after I gave my vote away to that woman. The indignity. The indignity. The indignity. They're shutting down our internet and prep for her. That's a big fucking deal. I'm going to do another video on that today. The internet neutrality. Yeah, that's a big fucking deal. I feel Sanders will stomp for Hillary again, lesser of the two evil over again, and Warren would be there to match her blue pantsuit again. Don't say that, man. Don't say that. Don't say that. You're saying bad things. People are amazed when Apple does face recognition when Android did it 5 years before. You think tech is cool, powers that are light years ahead of your imagination. I don't think it's light years ahead of my imagination. I have a pretty fucking amazing imagination. Just saying. Just saying, Ellen. I'm just saying. How dare you undercut the vastness of my imagination with that statement? I'm teasing Ellen. Yeah, they have pretty amazing stuff. One of the guys I used to work with, James, he was playing with this kind of software. I think it was Android that had it, facial recognition software. And so it's like you move your head and everything else, and the software would track the facial movements of the person. James used to like to dick around with technology, in general. I do it for a living. He does it because he loves it. There's a difference in those things. My brain works in that way, so I do that job. Sheikah Rogue, I never thought of the fact that shutting down the internet would be part of the way to game the system for Hillary Clinton. Good point. You should have spanked your wife for voting for Hillary Clinton. No, that would have been too good. She would have liked that too much. She would have liked it too much. Jamal, could you do a talk on Voyager? Void, sorry. If you already answered that, I missed it. Could you do a talk on Voyager? The Void. Oh, you mean when all of them were in that particular thing and 7 of 9 was the only one that was there and her experiences were screwing with her? I think that's one. I don't know which one the Void is. I think that, yeah, let me know if that's what you meant, Trudy. Warren is a wannabe hanger-on Mr. X. Yeah, Warren is. You know, and look, that's the other thing. If Hillary Clinton wanted to have any chance of that election, if she cared at all about progressives, this guy in this argument, she can bridge the gap with progressives. If Hillary Clinton cared at all, she would have picked Elizabeth Warren. If she cared at all. What I mean is, she ran that race with a magnificent amount of narcissism. A breathtaking amount of narcissism. I've never seen that much narcissism in my life. It was in action. I've never seen it. She chose Tim Kaine. She nearly lost to a socialist. Meaning you understand that there's a pissed off population out there. There's a pissed off, angry population that's full-time, finally aware, is being aware that their issue for the most part stems from the policies that are taking place in Washington and in their politics, meaning local, state, or federal. She didn't speak to that anger. Not just speak to the anger, she didn't give a shit about the anger. She chose Tim Kaine. So, yeah, if you're going to run as a 90s politician, no, if you're not going to give a shit about what just took place in the primaries where you nearly lost to a socialist, you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. I just feel bad for those progressives and lefties who dirtied themselves up in order to make that vote. The shame has to be unbearable. Probably cry at 3 in the morning. Warren pretends to be the second coming of Brooksley Born, and she is nowhere close. The only thing I trust about Warren is that she would punch one banker in the face after the next if she had the chance. If you put Warren in a room, Warren would hit a banker like Batman beat the shit out of the Joker. So that's the only thing I know about Warren. Everything else, what's the political win? Where's the political wind going? That's where Elizabeth Warren will be, wherever the political wind is blowing. Hillary Clinton needs to get elected. I think she has the best chance. I'm not gonna go with Bernie. I'm not gonna go with Bernie. I'm not gonna support Bernie. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stay mum. I'm gonna stay mum. I called myself a Native American at one point, and there are Native Americans having the shit kicked out of them. I'm not gonna say anything until Obama does his easement. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna release a statement afterwards. It's always after. It's always after. She's miscome lately. When she's having a conversation with Cenk Uygur and she's talking about primaries, and she's like, oh, they were also primaries. I thought they were the good-spirited primaries. And then later on, was it rigged? Yeah, it was rigged. It was rigged, yeah. Hey, the next day, you said it was rigged. I don't know if I said it was rigged. I don't know if I said it was rigged. Wherever the wind is blowing, that's where she is. That's where she is. So yeah. Second coming, I don't know of what. I don't know of what. Would she punch Wall Street bankers? Yes. I think a banker kicked her as a child or something. Took her candy away, just pissed her off. She has a thing in her head about bankers. What about the rest of the stuff? I want somebody to have a spine, man. And I understand that Bernie bowed down after he was broken at the DNC. I get that. I get that. They dragged him out in the cage. They were throwing fruit at him. They're screaming at us. Look at what we've done to your savior. Look at him. Look at him. So yeah, I get that. I get that. But he never thought he was going to win. I think him running with this idea in his head, I am going to win, or I have a better chance of winning, or better yet, it's my turn. I think a person who runs with that fundamental belief that it's my turn runs a different campaign. That's all. I think he runs different. Warren is a nice lady, but she lacks a spine. Yes, that's true. Mike 74. Let's just call you Mike. I'll just call you Mike. Yeah. Spine is missing. Cybermen actually have more humanity than Clinton does. Ooh, Tia Wheeler, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's real brutal. If she had endorsed him in mass, Bernie would have won and gained momentum. I think she would have won Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Yeah, I think he would have won Massachusetts. Yeah, because he only lost by like 0.5 or something. It was like some minor amount. And everybody looked at like, whoa, you guys are supposed to be the biggest lefties in Congress. What the fuck? Certainly between you and Clinton, I mean, between Sanders and Clinton, Sanders is the guy who's in your political alignment. Why are you slow-footing? It's like, why are you waiting? Where's your support for the guy who's most closely aligned? But at the point, you understood. You already understood. Those Democrats had lined up behind a particular person, and they called that woman inevitable. Everybody else who was around or ancillary was a problem. And Sanders standing there was a problem. Particularly him winning states was a massive problem. Showed her weakness. Love the Doctor Who references. Bill blocked polling stations in Massachusetts. Yes, he did. This is what I mean when I said that he should be locked up for that. That's electoral. That's interfering with an election. That's against the law. Anybody else, they would have carted away. There was also significant exit polling error in Massachusetts. Yes, agreed. It wasn't just Massachusetts, by the way. California, they didn't even bother having the exit polls in California. There's no point. There's no point. Yeah, I don't trust the votes. Honestly, don't trust the votes. He would have won Massachusetts and throw the sexist Bernie bro argument out the window. Yeah, he barely, I mean, it was close. It was massively close. If Clinton had won, we'd have annual purge in Bob Ramirez. If Clinton had won, we'd have annual purge now in place. I don't know about annual purge. I would be concerned about a war. That's what I'd be concerned about. Her invading Russia. Not invading Russia, invading Syria. My name is Chi-Town Mike. Ah, thank you. Chi-Town Mike. Chi-Town Mike. Okay, Chi-Town Mike. Thanks, Mike. James Dualman. They will change the rules so we'd never get a Bernie-style candidate again. All right, so, the Unity Commission is going on, and that's going to be up in December. That Unity Commission, that's going to be making the decision on this idea of open primaries and superdelegates. Bernie Sanders came out with a statement the other day. I think I did a video on it. And in that statement, he kind of took both barrels at superdelegates and at, what's the other, superdelegates and open primaries. Because I think Bernie Sanders understands what I understand on this. Part of your issue here, you didn't lose outright in the primaries, by the way. It was the superdelegate votes that put Hillary Clinton over. Now, superdelegates are there in order to keep out grassroots movements. That's what Deborah Wasserman-Schultz said. Superdelegates are there to keep out grassroots candidates. We don't want our candidates going up against a bunch of grassroots people. So that was the superdelegates thing. It's allowed them to put their thumb on the scale. The reasoning, the first reasoning behind superdelegates wasn't to keep out grassroots candidates. The reasoning was, if you have a candidate that is weak and that is going into the presidential election and there is a chance that candidate will lose and there's a stronger candidate, you put your weight behind the stronger candidate. They did it in 2008 with Obama and Clinton. They put their weight behind Obama. They thought Obama was a stronger candidate over Hillary Clinton. 2016. Every poll that you take shows Bernie Sanders beating the stuffing out of every last Republican and beating Donald Trump by like 14 points. The reason why he was beating Trump worse is because the people who were supporting Trump, many of them would have supported Sanders. Many of them would have preferred Sanders. Bernie Sanders understands that superdelegates, closed elections, are the way the Democratic Party can rig the system. That's what they understand. So he's pointing his barrels at both of those things. Now, if the convention itself, this mythical thing that they're calling a unity convention, if this unity quote-unquote reform commission, or whatever the hell they're calling it, if that closes and they don't get rid of superdelegates and they don't get rid of open primaries, then what? Then what? Yes, Hillary Clinton had control of the political apparatus, fair enough. But even if Hillary Clinton didn't have control of the political apparatus, those people still have those superdelegates, and they still are able to exclude people from the primaries voting in those primaries using those elections, using those closed elections. So, if Sanders wants to win in a Democratic primary, is he going to be able to do it if you have that massive, like a third of the share of the vote already going to the other person because they don't like Sanders? He understands he needs to get rid of those things. If him or somebody that he himself wants to push has a chance of winning. The question is the Unity Reform Commission going to do that? Is it going to get rid of those? And the more interesting question to me is if they tell Sanders to go fuck himself. They've already been purging progressives and lefties and people who are supporting Sanders or Ellison. You've already been cheated. They've already been lying about the cheating. They've already fucked this country over for the past 20 some odd years in regards to their economic policies and their shift to the right. Do you still support them? If they tell you to go fuck yourself, we're keeping our close primaries and we're keeping our superdelegates, you and your progressives and your lefties can go fuck yourselves. If that's what they say, what does Sanders say? What does TYT say? What does Justice Democrats say? What do all these guys who were totally on board for this Dem-Enter policy, what do they say at that point? When they completely rebuff your efforts and shows you that this Unity Reform Commission was a pony show while people were watching. The moment people stopped watching, yeah, we're going to push us under the table. We're back to status quo. Let's just keep the shit going. No, we're not getting rid of our superdelegates. No, we're not getting rid of our closed primaries. What does the Dem-Enter crowd do? With this one last indignity, do you still go back and says, I know he beats me, but I know he slaps me, but I know he had sex with the maid on the kitchen table, while I watched. But, there's always a but. But he says nobody else will ever love me, so I don't go anywhere. That's Democrat. That's the Democrat. That's what they look like to me. That's what it looks like. Named Josh Ford, who is progressive. Now he has zero chance, but fuck it. Byron Ramirez, we have 3 years to build someone up. Yes, agreed. Tia Wheeler. Chris Packer, what did Packer say? We have to look for new faces and other voices, not rehashing old battles. Pat Hacker, I agree. Totally agree. I think Mrs. Thomas would have felt much worse today if Clinton had won. Oh, man. I don't know, man. There is a soothing... What's the word I'm looking for? There is... Donald Trump scares her. It's his tone. Donald Trump scares a lot of people. It's his tone, his manner. He's fundamentally unlike anything else in that office. He's a loose cannon. He's fucking nuts. You don't want... That's the guy. It's like... Her issue was... He's a maniac, and I don't know what he'll do in that office. And... that part is true. Like any calculus in regards to saying one is worse than the other, you have to be honest. I do think he's a maniac. I do think he's a wild card. That being said, this idea of this kind of soothing complacency by putting in Democrats, even though those Democrats are working against your interests. For example, Bill Clinton signing NAFTA stuck a knife in the back of workers. It doesn't matter what came out of Bill Clinton's mouth. It does not matter what Bill Clinton was saying. At the end of the day, Bill Clinton signed NAFTA and he gutted a lot of this country. That was him. Doesn't matter what he says. What he did was something different. Bill Clinton took a huge amount of money when he got that office. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of the people who was first Democrat to outraise a Republican. Passing the crime bill, passing financial reform, getting rid of Glass-Steagall was a major fucking deal. That was full-on right-wing policy at this point. We're talking about things that right-wingers masturbated over. And Bill Clinton did it. Because Bill Clinton was a Democrat, they looked at it as well. He's a Democrat, man. It looks okay. Looks fine to us. That's had massive repercussions. Yes, Reagan also, massive repercussions. But that has had massive repercussions in regards to our particular society and our world. You have Obama coming in, willing to sign the TPP, and you have a bunch of other regulations behind it, like TISA. Just because they talk a particular way, just because they have a particular cadence, just because they make you feel better, does not mean they're not fucking you over. That's my point. Like, the party that's supposed to actually get shit done is the left. They call you progressives for a reason. It's this idea of progress. How do we move forward? We're the guys who move the country forward. We're the ones who bitch and moan, whether you're talking about job stuff, whether you're talking about income inequality. Well, not too much on that front. We've been getting our asses handed to us. But I'm just saying, when you're looking at, for example, this thing of race, identity, in a sense. Yes, people go too far with identity, but it used to be a lot fucking worse. It used to be a lot worse, and in the other direction. In the other direction. That's a hegemonic viewpoint of identity that's been enshrined in our particular society based on the left, pulling the country forward. Civil rights. Workers' rights. Your weekends. Again, that's workers' rights. That's progressive policy. Those are things that pull this country forward in a particular direction. Hell, women's rights. Gay rights. That's us. That's us. The vehicle for that, we only have two. And right now, we only have two. That vehicle is supposed to be the Democratic Party. That Democratic Party right now is in no way capable of being any vehicle for the left at all. It's not. It functions as primarily a vehicle for the right that pacifies the left by saying certain pretty words. Whatever Obama wanted to say about change and everything else, he gave 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. That is the highest, if I'm not mistaken, that is the highest total of any of the presidents. Democrats are soothing. It's their cadence. It's what they say. What they do is different. I don't know what you would think of the presidency right now, because you probably wouldn't be thinking about it at all. Most people probably would go about their day just saying Hillary Clinton is in office. Whether I like her or not is besides the point. She's handling whatever. I think they go to sleep. I think the reason you have people freaking out in both of the parties is because of Trump. You have a lot of Republicans that don't particularly like him. You have independents that hate his guts. You have Democrats that hate his guts. And lefties don't particularly like him, but they don't like Democrats either. The thing that unifies, regardless of what this ridiculous article said, the thing that will unify is a lefty. Democrats want the party to move to the left anyway. Those Democrats will vote for a lefty. A lefty will not necessarily vote for a Democrat. That's just the way it is at this point. So that's Hillary Clinton is not a unifier in this case. She's the opposite. That's my point. And that is my point. That's why I'm glad she lost. Revolution is more likely now. Thomas Sirman. There is a thing to be said for chaos driving revolutions. It's like, how is it? Everything is falling apart. Then it is a good day. It is a good day. Like I said, man, I didn't want a Republican to win the governorship in this state. But I didn't want the Democrat to win it either. Meaning I was settled for the Republican because I think it would have turned that party into turmoil. Sent that party into turmoil. Chaos, in some respects, is good. Chaos is a pressure. You need a certain amount of tension. Otherwise, nothing changes. Right now, the biggest assault that is trying to be made is to have stuff like our revolution, those type of things. And that is perfectly fine. That is perfectly good. I support any effort that takes these right-wing Democrats out their seats. Yes. But in the cases where you don't have anybody to run against the right-wing Democrats, do you still vote for that particular Democrat? I'm saying in those cases where you don't have somebody to run at that Democrat, somebody who can take that seat, somebody who can win, then you shouldn't vote for him. You shouldn't get your vote. That's my point. Starts with no. Follow the money with pitchforks and boycotts, and people will follow suit. Agreed, Chi-Town might, but it's hard to get people to do that. Like they instead go protesting out of Verizon stores, which is like, come on. Does anyone get mails from a thing called centrist program? Apparently, it's a program aimed at electing centrist-minded people. I don't want a centrist. I don't even know what that means. I don't want a centrist. I don't want a centrist. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. People go, look, what I mean by that, and I know I'm being hyperbolic in this. I'm challenging this particular statement. You do have people who are massively right-wing. You have people who are left-wing, whatever, however you want to call that spectrum. But those things change, those things flow, and those things move. What do you want to take place in your society? Start there. What do you want to take place? What do you think your society should look like? Start there. What do you think it should look like? Now, this thing of right-wing and left-wing, if we're talking about just Democrats by itself, these guys take massive amounts of cash, and they do the bidding of the people who are giving them massive amounts of cash, while talking a particular way to lefties. They call that being centrist. We can take money, we can do bad shit, and every so often we throw a crumb to the lefties. I don't want a party that's a centrist. I want a party that knows what it is. Be who you are. Know what you represent. That's what I want. That is not the Democratic Party. That should not get your vote. The rich already have a party. It's called the Republican Party. They have their party. We should have ours. Bob Ramirez, lots of YouTube ads lately against net neutrality. It should be more than YouTube ads. It should be more than YouTube ads. It should be a hell of a lot more than YouTube ads. Think about this. You're talking about destroying the internet as we know it, purely because 0.0001% wants to make a massive amount of profit off that particular internet, that particular resource. Who wants this? Who wants this? Be honest, who wants this? Now, Donald Trump put somebody in that particular office that would do that specific thing. He's been salivating and masturbating at the idea of doing. I'm talking about, I can't think of the guy's name, the Indian cat who's taking that particular task. There needs to be some method, some apparatus that would allow somebody to not allow something to go through. And I know people would say, well, that's supposed to be the politicians themselves. But they're completely ineffectual with regards to what the people want. It is maddening. It is immensely maddening to sit around with 90-something% of the population saying no, and you have a small percentage. And I'm saying 90% because if they knew what the fuck was going on, they would also say no. They wouldn't want their internet subjected to something like that. But this 0.0001% thinks this is a great fucking idea because they themselves can make a huge amount of cash and they can turn off certain sites that they don't particularly like or charge more for sites that they want you to go through. That's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. It's fucking maddening. Yeah, that's fucking maddening. I do have Twitter, Jake Smith. It's look in the box at the bottom. Nobody checks the box at the bottom. Nobody checks that box. Pet hacker, that was before the United States was taken over by the CIA. Intelligence cleanse gave the mainstream press to the billionaires. Oh, right, I forgot about that. The press thing, allowing them to, oh, God, I can't think of the name of it. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That's it. AGPI, Mr. X, yeah. AGPI is the asshole's name from the FCC. Yes, that's who that is. 54, Deuce. I'm gonna call you Deuce because the last thing looks like Deuce. Yeah, AGPI is the asshole's name from the FCC. Yes, that's who that guy is. Yes, that's who that fucker is. It's fucking amazing. I don't understand how this guy gets to walk around in the streets and feel perfectly okay with what the fuck he's doing. When he goes and gets coffee, people start to spit in his coffee. Like there's something to be said for ostracizing people for certain bad behavior. I don't understand why this gets the formality of having some kind of state function associated with it. He's destroying the internet, the way we know it, for the gain of a very, very, very small few. Gain of a very small few. Now, that being said, Google, Twitter, and Facebook are not beyond this. Google, Twitter, and Facebook have been shadow banning certain things that they don't necessarily like for political reasons. So something comes out about Hillary Clinton. These guys are Democrats. These guys are devout Democrats. Hey, we don't want to show this. Let's change the algorithm so that's not being shown. Hey, I don't like when Russia Today criticizes our particular politicians. Let's change the algorithm so Russia RT will be lower in the search results. That's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. And this guy gets to walk around feeling perfectly comfortable, shrouded in this governmental thing of, I'm just doing a governmental service by killing the internet as we know it for the fucks on the side who's going to make a shitload of money for me doing this. I don't understand how this guy gets to walk around in safety and comfort. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't see how it happens. Yeah. It was going to happen under Hillary, Adam Sinclair. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it looks like it was going to happen under Obama. The only difference is people were giving him such heat about it that Obama backed off on it. I am not shocked nor surprised that that would have maybe happened under Obama if he didn't get that necessarily heat associated with it. The question is, how do you apply heat, focus heat, to the people involved that makes them back the fuck off for stuff that they don't particularly like? In the case of Trump care, you have politicians where you can focus your ire and hatred at. What about this? What about this? What aspect of the FCC allows you to get across how much you hate what they're doing when you know that they're going to do it anyway because they don't give a shit about your comments about it? How do you get that across? How do you get that across? I don't know how to get that across. Adam Sinclair, you are correct. Yes. YouTube closed down Sticks for a couple of hours yesterday. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. Ajit Pai was first appointed by Obama. What does that tell you? That tells me that he was going to do the shit under Obama. That's what it tells me. Obama got a massive amount of heat from it and he backed off. For Trump, he's okay. Everybody's in line. Yes. Everybody's in line. We're going to do this. Yes. Yes. We're going to make some people a whole lot of money. We're going to fuck over a lot of people in the process. Yes. Make his name sound synonymous with shit that he is. Yeah, that's fucking asshole. Fucking asshole. Mr. X tells me a lot. Yeah, it tells me a lot too. It tells me a lot too. All these Obama supporters. I mean, the Standing Rock thing was fucking ridiculous. How do you get redemption after allowing these people to get their heads beat in for months on end, for months, 1 month after the next, after the next, after the next, and then at the last minute, okay, I'll sign an easement. I'll sign an easement. I don't see how this gets a pass. I don't see how it gets a pass. When are you going to do a show about net neutrality? Kate, I've done one. I've done 2 on net neutrality. I was talking about doing another one. Jose Casrillo, every time I see Pai's dumbass face, I want to powerbomb his ass on his cement. Fair enough. I don't blame you. Jeremy Sheldon, they walk around and live in a bubble of rich people in Washington neighborhoods who are above all this. The people don't care about us. They don't care because they're detached. It's like if... Look, we need to stop pretending that the things that these people do in their offices is completely and utterly detached from the world to which we exist and to which they live. That yes, they're in their bubbles. They should be affected by the things that they do. So John McCain will walk around. John McCain thinks he's a great fucking guy. John McCain gets cancer and everybody is crying about John. Oh my God, John McCain got cancer. John McCain got cancer. John McCain was up for each and every war that this country has ever come across. This guy was perfectly okay killing people abroad and murdering people abroad, talking about he wanted to stay in Iraq forever. Or Bush invaded that country, killed 1 million people on the pretext of a lie. On the pretext of a lie. John McCain wanted to stay there forever. 100 years. Whatever his fucking comment was. Let's stop pretending that the laws and the rules that these people make is completely and utterly detached from the world to which we live. It may be detached from where they live, because whatever vote John McCain is going to take that's going to kill somebody abroad, at the end of the day, John McCain is going home. He's getting into a warm bed. He's getting into a warm bed. IJ Pie, whatever the fuck his name is pronounced, is going to do the same. He's going to kill the internet. He's going to make a ton of cash in some particular way. And he's going home and go to bed. He's going to eat his Cheerios. He's going to have sex with his device, whatever that device is, a robot. And he's going to go to bed. Perfectly okay, safe and secure, in his house, as if nothing had taken place. Even though he did something that was fucking ghastly for the majority of the population that the population didn't want. At some point, he needs to show that that's not okay. He needs to show that that's not okay. I don't understand why people are... It's like... This guy was willing to gut Medicare, but all around in other respects he's a good guy. Was he willing to gut Medicare? Then he's not a good fucking guy. You shouldn't treat him as such. Paul Ryan shouldn't get to call himself a Christian and a Catholic, as Paul Ryan is willing to do really nasty shit to give money to plutocrats and take that money for everybody else, from services and goods from the government itself. Yeah, it annoys me, clearly. It just annoys me, that's all. It annoys me. John McCain should have retired years ago. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's a politician. He doesn't do anything. Not a popular opinion, but McCain, from an objective moral standpoint, deserves that cancer. Matt West is not a popular opinion. It is an opinion that I've taken, however. It's an opinion that I've taken. It's like we're okay with people murdering people abroad, but the moment that something happens to a person who's doing really nasty shit for the entire time they've been in Congress, oh my God, this person got cancer. We need to talk about how good he was. No! Talk about him as an entirety of a person. And if that means talking about him in the entirety of a person, that he's willing to do really bad shit and he's willing to make certain laws or pass certain things that's going to get people killed, then maybe he wasn't that good of a person. Somebody sent me a thing the other day saying, my mom and dad were Republicans and they were good people. How can you say they weren't Christian? Because they were Republicans. Because they were Republicans. They might have been perfectly nice to you. They might have been perfectly nice to their neighbors. But ultimately, the things that they were supporting were adversely affecting large amounts of people, be it wanting murder and war from war, or what they were doing internally in the country itself in regards to the poor and the least of us. Yes. Either they don't know, they've never opened that book with regards to Jesus, or they're not Christians. I'm sorry. You may dislike that opinion, but that's my opinion. Florida with Deborah Wasserman Schultz and Arizona with John McCain are fucked. Pat Hacker. Catherine Harris. Clinton wanted to use cyber hacking as a pretext for war. We'd be at war everywhere if Clinton was in office. Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agree. At the very, understand, when Clinton went into that office, she went into that office under this idea of Russia did something. Russia did something. Do you think she was going to back away from that particular sentiment when she got into office? No, she was going to put troops in Syria like she said she wanted to do before. You understand that the Libya attack was Clinton's brainchild. That wasn't Obama's brainchild. That was her. That was something she herself wanted to do that Obama was somewhat ambivalent about. And she did. She did what she was going to do. She did what she was going to do. Why do you believe that she's going to act in any other way when she gets in that office? And what I believe would happen with all these Hillbots would have went to sleep in the same way they went to sleep when Obama was drone murdering all sorts of civilians. So yes, I don't want her in that office. And no, she's not getting my fucking vote to get into that office. Nobody is going to get my vote unless there's something that represents my values. That's what it boils down to. Meaning when I go and when I place a vote, it's going to be for somebody who I say, okay, I will put my name behind this particular person. What this person does for good or for ill, it will be on me. That's what my vote means. That's what my vote means. I don't know what these other people's vote means who are willing to vote for fucking concentration camps. The vote to them is something different. Vote to them is something different. Watch how you throw out that word rape. HA may do a segment really angry and self-righteous. Yeah, he's pissed off. He was angry. He told everybody to go fuck themselves. Fair enough. Teach his own. Teach his own. Actually, Jamal, I referred to you the book. of rich fuckface 1 when God says, let there be riches for the 1%. Right. Right. That's how God spake to Jesus. Let there be riches and let you exploit the least of you. Yeah. Liberal democracy is crumbling. Yeah. Pillbox. Yeah. Sladrov Zizek, he makes this thing of Fukuyama's, this thing of the end of history. Like, is this the highest form of organization that humanity can reach? I don't think we're at the end of history. I mean, I don't think you can go further with this particular model. I think, like anything else, human beings trying to hone the model that they're in. And if you give them certain incentives, they're going to try to maximize those particular incentives. Now, in this case, we just have a fucked up incentive system where people try to advantage themselves at the expense of everybody else. That's our world. That's our world. That world, yeah, is crumbling. Whether you're talking about environmental degradation, whether you're talking about economic issues, whether you're talking about societal stress from those economic issues, yeah, I think society is crumbling in that way. I think it's so much signs of strain. People need to make that next leap to understand that you don't have to live this way. And the hardest part of that is breaking them out of this idea that this is the way God made it. They get up. They go to work. They eat dinner. They do whatever they do in the evening. They go to sleep for a few hours. They wake up. They go to work. Do whatever they do in the evening. Go to sleep for a few hours. They wake up. They go to work. Do whatever they do in the evening. This is everybody's life. This is most people's life. Is that a life? That's what I'm asking. Is that a life? And can life be different? And when you start asking those questions, this idea of this mode of society, the way people do this stuff, you start to realize that there is no purpose to life in this sense. Life can be whatever you want. This idea that people are working for jobs, money, and all this stuff is insane. There are jobs that need to be done because people have needs and those need to be met. Think of that as a base level. There are needs that need to be met. There's work that needs to be done. How do we do the work that needs to be done in order to meet the needs people needs, the things that people need? But that's not how we live our society. We don't even live our society from the standpoint of getting things that people need to those people. We have desperate and rampant poverty all over the world, not just in the United States. It's not because we don't have resources. They just don't have access to those resources. You can have somebody with $40 billion. You have somebody else living on the street. That's fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, society is showing stress. It doesn't have to be this way. That's all. I am not hard in the camp of any particular thing in regards. I just have metrics. It's like, how do you do X? How do you do X? Or how do you do X? How do you do Y? How do you do Z? Those things become technical issues to me. I'm always amazed by the ideological arguments that are made and why the press allows ideological arguments to be made for technical issues. How do we supply healthcare to each and every person in this country? Okay, that's a technical issue. That's a technical issue. How do we do it? What's the system? What's the way of doing it? What's the way to make it cheap as possible? What's the way where we can get everybody involved in that particular process? That becomes a technical issue. This was done purely through an ideological lens of, let's just take Mitt Romney's plan and let's just try to make that shit work. Market-based solution to healthcare. The human being is still subordinate to the market itself, even in the most precious thing that human being has to offer, their physical body. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I think it's crumbling. It would have to change. That's my point. All right. Oh wow, this has gone almost 2 hours. I'm going to leave this because my mother-in-law and my mom are on the way here, and we're going to have a day after Thanksgiving brunch. In fact, well, they're not here. Yeah, they're going to have Thanksgiving brunch. I've been told to do one on Zimbabwe, so I may do one on Zimbabwe. I know what's going on. I understand what's going on. I don't know. Put it this way, I've read articles on it and I've seen videos on it, but I don't necessarily know all the ins and outs. All I know is Mugabe is being pushed out of office. It seems that the military in that particular country had enough of Mugabe, and they said, it's time for you to step aside. For what I understand, Mugabe has roots going back fighting colonialism, and so that gave him a certain amount of carte blanche in that particular country. That being said, when I was traveling, it's funny, when I was traveling, and you're abroad, particularly when you're in Africa, like Northern Africa, I think it was in Egypt, and you would get news from all the other parts of Africa. It's fucking amazing. And one of the things that came up, it was like an election where something about Mugabe being in that election, but Mugabe was monkeying around with the process. He was like locked up his challenger or something like that. His challenger was picked up and put in a jail, and it was finally like threatening the challenger to get out the race and all this other weird and crazy stuff. So yeah, I look it up. I do the Mugabe one. HA and his butthurt videos got a bit boring. Yeah, I like HA, but so glad I found you, Thomas Sermon. Aw, thank you, Thomas. Yeah, HA is not a bad guy. His basic premise, I think I agree with. Democrats are the problem. Democrats are the problem. The reason I say that, like I said, the vehicle in this country to get anything done is Democrats. Unfortunately, that's the left. That's your vehicle. So if that particular vehicle is not up to snuff, what do you have to do in order to get that vehicle up to snuff? That vehicle needs to lose persistently to the point where that vehicle changes just out of sheer fuckery and losing, or you replace it, or you do both. Now, I say that to say, you have places like Justice Democrats, I know people hate it, but they're still to the left, and Our Revolution, Brand New Congress, you have all these things. There's a vying for the crown in regards to the Democratic Party. But I think that needs to be combined with a strong understanding that people are being willing to say, no, I will not be complicit in what takes place. I will not be complicit in you bastardizing what it means to be to the left. Otherwise, nothing changes. They have no reason to change. There's no tension. There's no force. There's nothing to push them to change if they don't have that chance and that persistent threat of A, a third party, and B, losing. And losing. So, I will leave it at that. Trudy, thank you. What do you think about we the people starting an exit poll country to guard our own elections? We got to do something. Yeah, we got to do something, man. Like, cause, yeah, we got to do something. I would prefer it not be third party. I would prefer it be a formal thing. And what I mean by third party, like this kind of independent observer of sorts. It needs to be internal. Like, what are you going to find? Like the electoral thing that took place. There is this thing called what is it, Election Something USA or something like that, that went through the election itself and can, for the most part, demonstrate fraud. Nobody listens. Nobody cares. It has to be something in the apparatus itself that tries to either prevent or expose when that takes place. That means the battleground for that is the polls themselves, it's the politicians themselves, putting massive amounts of heat on these guys. I would say any platform that's calling themselves the left need to agree on certain things if it wants to get shit done. Voting is one of those things. Corporations are not people. It needs to be one of those things. There needs to be this flat line fundamental thing of integrity of what it means to be on the left. I don't give a shit what you're running as. There should be a fundamental thing that unites all lefties all across the United States, at the very least at the bare bones level of, yes, we full well believe that corporations are not people too, and we're going to work to do it. Yes, we're going to work to fortify the voting process. I want right-wingers to believe in the voting process. I want to believe in the voting process. I think most Americans want to believe in their voting process. Just got to do it. You just got to do it. It's not that I'm against it. It's just I don't know what it does other than exposing something that we already know. They're fucking cheating. They're cheating. I'm not going to say that, Bob. I'm not going to say that, Bob. I want Jamal to debate Hartman on election fraud. Oh, Tom Hartman? Tom Hartman doesn't even know I exist. Tom Hartman doesn't even know I exist. And look, I like Tom Hartman, by the way. I like it. Bob Romero. So my name is AJ Goodman. It takes me 15 minutes to express 140-minute tweets worth of information. That's wrong, Bob. You're a mean guy, Bob. You're a mean guy. Yeah, Mike, he doesn't know I exist. He doesn't know I exist. Tom Hartman has no idea I exist. Tom Hartman is one of the smartest guys I've come across in politics. He supported Hillary. Don't get me wrong. He was a fan of Bernie Sanders. He supported Bernie Sanders. And he flipped his support to Hillary because he was terrified of Trump. He has this passive, calm way of presenting information. I love it. Absolutely love it. I haven't seen him flip out or get angry. And he tends to have this kind of canned right-wing thing sometimes where he goes back and forth with the guys. I like Tom Hartman. I like Tom Hartman. Or whether I could win that debate with Tom Hartman, I don't know. I would dig into same progressive stuff big time. Yeah. Yeah. He would have to dismiss all of that evidence that same progressive has put up. She went through this election thing like nobody's business. She was fucking awesome on it. She was fucking awesome on it. So, yeah. He doesn't know me. None of these people know me, guys. 24-hour lib. Jamal would clean the floor with apologist Hartman. Oh, it depends on what we're talking about. Oh, that always depends. That always depends. That always depends. Hartman is a neoliberal's neoliberal. He is not a neoliberal's neoliberal. There's no way. There's no way. When I used to watch, when I was coming into my own, coming into my awareness, it's like somebody breaking out of a dream state into awareness. I used to love Hartman's show. It wasn't until the election where he was trying to toe this line between Hillary and Bernie, like, I'm gonna just dance on the fence. Fuck dancing on the fence. Choose a side. Choose a side. If you want things to change, choose a side. Choose your. There is no clear distinction between what the Democrats were versus what the Democrats are, between Hillary and Bernie. That race is distinctive. This is, you know, the elder brother, the person who's coming out the past saying this is who we are supposed to be, scaring the shit out of neolibs. Tom Hartman would have voted for Sanders. Tom Hartman would have went for everything that Sanders put up. Everything he put up. I don't think he's this neolib that you're talking about. Tom Hartman is a capitalist. He left RT rather than defend it. Okay, that part I don't know. I didn't know he left RT. I didn't know he left RT. I need to look that up. I need to look that up. That part I need to look up. But either way, I'm just saying, when my experience with Hartman is not the experience that you guys are talking about. Now, that said, he is a Democrat. Oh, man, he is a Democrat, meaning he is true blue Democrat. He would support his team. That I agree with. That I agree with. That used to aggravate the shit out of me. And if I'm not mistaken, I used to get annoyed massively. And part of the reasons I think I stopped watching Tom Hartman, because I used to get so annoyed listening to him trying to tap dance, you know, on the head of a pin between this Hillary and Bernie debate. It's like, dude, pick a side. Pick a side. Absolutely pick a side. Always hated Maddow. I got to hate Maddow when I started disliking Maddow greatly. I don't hate her. I left TYT and Hartman about the same time. Me too. I just couldn't listen to the anti-Trump crap any longer. Yeah, for me, it wasn't anti-Trump crap. It was a dancing on the head of a pin crap. This thing of, I don't know, you know, I'm trying to dance between both sides. I like Bernie Sanders because he used to be on my show, but I like Hillary Clinton too. I think she's an awesome person and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they cheated my guy and you're a tap dancer. I don't want a tap dancer. I want somebody who would be honest and say and express they cheated. That's what I want. That's what I want. Yeah, he used to do Friday lunch with Bernie for years. That's how I knew about Bernie Sanders and right under the bus. Cheeky rogue, yes. Agreed. Agreed. Luca Clemente. Tom Hartman unfortunately succumbed to the mild case of Trump derangement syndrome. Just before the election, he started belittling dissenter callers. Luca Clemente. No fucking way. Are you serious? Wow, that's fucked up. Greg Van Assange was never even charged in Sweden. No, he was not. He was scared that he was going to be extradited to the United States for prison term. Yeah. Jose Cascrito. Maddow is Cal Kalinske in disguise, if you could call it a disguise. Oh. In one of my earlier videos when I first started, I think I said suspected lesbian Cal Kalinske. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. I like Cal. He's not a bad guy. By the way, Cal voted for Jill Stein. Cal voted for Jill Stein. Whatever the fuck they said about Justice Democrats, he voted for Jill Stein. Good on Cal. Good on Cal. Alright, I'm going to end this. I said I was going to do it before. Thank you, Kate, for the funds, for the super cash. That's always appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, I have 63 people. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. This is a live chat day after Thanksgiving, belittling the ridiculous man who wrote the ridiculous piece, saying ridiculous things about Hillary Clinton running in 2020. That's what this was. But that's my summary at the end. Alright, guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. Thanks, guys.